Hello, I'd like to welcome you to the latest episode of Rounders Reconnected. And I'm really excited to have an interview of someone who's a fellow Northerner from the other side of the county, unfortunately, of the world. I'm from Yorkshire and she's from Lancashire. But welcome, Jo Baldwin, for coming on for this interview.
Thank you. Clash of the Roses.
Definite Clash of the Roses. So tell us a bit more. How did you get involved in Rounders and just where it all started, really?
So I'd played Rounders at school and absolutely loved it back in the day. So I played at junior school and then secondary school. My school was quite a sporty school, and we were me and a friend just happened to see it pop up on Facebook, and it said that there was a Rounders session happening in Burnley and Pendle Way, but it was in Burnley. And I sent a message to my pal and said, "Hey, there's some Rounders on at this school. Do you fancy it?" And she was like, "Oh God, yeah, I loved it when we were at school." And we went down, and it was a brilliant summer, 2012. We were having a great summer, and it was down at one of the secondary schools in Burnley. And me and my friend turned up, and I think there were about 13, 14 of us, something like that, not even enough for two teams. People hadn't played, obviously, since being at school. And we had this first game, and everybody was just like, wow, takes your memories back, how wonderful, how brilliant. And this was about a pilot. I think Janet Randall from Burnley Leisure was sort of spearheading it. And I think she had about a 6-week run. I think that's what she was doing, something like that. So we turned up the following week, and suddenly there were 18 women all down there playing, and people had brought all the kids, so the kids were playing whilst the mums and the were all playing week on, and I can't remember the exact stats, but I'm sure by the end of it, we'd too many for two teams. So each week it had just grown and grown and grown, word of mouth. And Janet was brilliant, and Janet was like, I think we've got something here. I think we could maybe create a bit of a league. That'd be wonderful. What a great opportunity. And I really gelled with Janet straight away. I hadn't known her before. And I just said to her as we were walking back to the car park one day, and I said, look, if you're going to start a league and you're going to try and get this off the ground, I'm really happy to help. For many years, I've played a lot of netball, helped run a couple of the leagues locally. And I was always a big believer that these things can't get off the ground if you've not got volunteers and people don't lean in to help.
Absolutely.
And that was my throwaway sort of comment, look, I'll help you if you need it. And then the rest is history, really. All sort of 12 years later or 10 years later, we're sort of fully fledged, like superstar twice a week league, playing in winter and summer. So that's kind of where it all started.
It's fabulous as well, the way it's grown. I've spoke to Janet, and just the way it's grown and the amount of attendance and the fact that it's winter and summer is just brilliant. And kids leagues as well, isn't there, linked to that?
Yeah, and what's always been really good is certainly in the summer months. I mean, we're playing now. We're not getting a great summer, to be fair. We've had some blustery nights, but you always turn up for. I play on a Monday night still now, but people are down there with the kids. I had my little boy there the other week. His dad were away skiing, so he came with me with a football, and he played on the on the side pitches as we were all playing. Very few sports you can kind of carry on as a parent, as an adult, and have your kids sort of, in eye shot, like people are there around looking after them for you whilst you're playing, which I think is really good.
Yeah. So did you get involved in any, so you're organising, so are you very heavily involved in the committee and the organising?
So right back in the day, obviously Janet then needed umpires, so quite a lot of us put ourselves forward. I umpired for many years. I did that. For many years, it was sort of either before your game or after your game, you'd stay on and do your shift umpiring. And then we got into being more of a proper club that then needs a committee. And again, I said to Janet, look, I'll help if you want me to, entirely up to you. And I ended up being the chair of the league. And, it's a pretty straightforward, we don't really have, it's not arduous, and it's not onerous or anything like that. But we make decisions, we decide, we do a twice yearly presentation, things like that. So I get involved as much as Janet wants me to get involved, quite frankly. But back down to this, if you don't volunteer and people don't put themselves forward, you can't run these things. Janet can't do it on her own. She's a full-time job, and a lot of commitment at Burnley Leisure, so you've got to help. So yes, I umpired for many years. I never went on to do the coaching, but we've got some brilliant coaches down at Burnley Rounders Club. We've some fab coaches that went on to do serious level coaching.
Yeah. So what was it like umpiring then?
Well, I didn't mind it. I quite enjoyed it, and I'm a big fan of, you've got to really understand the rules, haven't you? That's that's the butt of it. But I played a lot of netball, quite serious netball, when I was a lot younger, and I was always an umpire at netball. So I kind of just fell into doing it and didn't mind it. You've sometimes got a bit of controversy, and you've a bit of a come on ref, like that.
Yeah.
But that comes with the banter of the sport, and it's always an opinion. It's always, a ref don't always see everything. So you've got to, you've just got to be balanced with it. But I didn't mind it. Work commitments took over. So, it's a bit of a rush and grab now. Is coming to play. It's straight home from work, quick change, and flying down the motorway to go and play, and then back home to be a mum. So it's hard to juggle it all.
Yeah, but you're still heavily involved and enjoy it. 'Cause you took a bit of time out, didn't you?
Yeah, so I retired for a bit. We were the squad that we first started. We played together for many years, and then we all, like commitments and kids and all of that. And as the kids are getting older, there's more commitment in there as the kids get to secondary school and stuff. And we all sort of retired a little bit and got out of it. And then I can't remember who it is now, but somebody messaged me and said, "You don't fancy a game, do you?" And I'm like, "Go on, then I will do." And I always played backstop. So I played backstop at school, and I've gone on to carry on playing that, and I absolutely love that position. So it's a pretty fine art of a position, is backstop, if you can get it right. So
it is, and apparently I've been hearing all about this triangle that
all
you've
about
got
the triangle.
To have. Yeah.
It's all about the triangle, and somebody was saying to me the other day, because my team always, whoever gets first base, and we always joke about who's got the bruised hands from receiving the balls, because our bowlers are pretty. I have to wear shin pads. She's that bad. She throws a right ball, and if it whacks you on your leg, you're a bit you're bruised. So but I'm quite a fast thrower, and we always laugh about who catches at first base. But my teacher, I always remember back in the day, used to say, aim for the head, but obviously you don't want to hit it. And that was always the fine art of a nice, fast, low ball. And I once said it to somebody the other week. I said, I'm aiming at your head, but I don't really want to hit you.
It sounds like a fabulous community.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. The girls have, 10 years, 11 years in the making, wonderful. There's girls there that, one of the girls the other day, I walked past one of the games, and I glanced and saw her little boy, who I remember being a tiny little boy. And I was like, that is never your boy. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, wow, like he's grown up. It's just wonderful.
Yeah.
So it's a lovely community. There's some brilliant friendships. Some of the teams have been playing for such a long time. Fourth base, Witchy Birds, I think they're the first ones that were with us when we were Scruples. All still great pals. The wonderful friends now still, so that's wonderful.
Yeah. And you went through breast cancer, didn't you? So how was sort of the community around that? And
yeah, so so I was just coming out of the other side of my breast cancer when all this started. I was diagnosed in 2011, and had some tricky surgery, and had to have chemo and things like that, which is hard yards. But my girlfriends who were in that team at the time were wonderful. My reconstruction surgery in 2014, we were only laughing about it the other week. They all came to my house for tea one night. We all had a catch up and a glass of wine and what have you, as I was in my recovery. So they were all brilliant, and everybody's always been great around it, and great. I'm out the other side of it. That's the most positive thing. I can look back now, and like 12, 13 years on, it feels like a memory. Yeah, it feels like a memory ago, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's lovely that you can look back at that, can't you, from all that time ago. And see it as a memory.
Had to have a bit of time off, because I had some pretty serious reconstruction where they use your tummy to recreate and all of that. So I was off for quite a few months, because you really had to rest and recover and stuff. But it's never really stopped me coming back and being able to play again and stuff, which I love. And that's the thing about Rounders. It's pretty neither bias nor, you know, it's a great all-inclusive sport. It doesn't matter your shape, your size, your age. You know, us older ones, you know, we're back out of retirement and playing with the kids again. It's great, you know.
Yeah, and that's great, isn't it?
Mm.
It's absolutely brilliant, and such a community for it. So, but you didn't just stop there. You were being a bit of a pin-up girl, aren't you?
Well, that was the funny thing. So we ended up, Janet got approached by Sport England, I think it was, back in the day when they were redoing the This Girl Can campaign, and they were coming down to Burnley to come and interview some of the girls. And I'm not sure whether we realised that they were actually trying to find the girl of, I don't know whether we really fully understood what they were doing, but we thought we were just all being interviewed about our love of rounders and all the rest of it. And Scruples had come down. We were like the Orange Army. We always had orange jumpers and T-shirts. So we were like the Orange Army is what we used to always say. And they came down, interviewed all the girls, interviewed half the other girls of the team. And then they were interviewing me. And I was, we're not probably the youngest girls that were playing, but at the time I was probably one of the oldest within our team, or certainly in the topper echelons of the age group. And I can't remember now what we got asked, but we got asked about, you know, our passion for rounders. And I must have said, you know, I played at school. And the phrase, I think I sort of said, well, you know, I've left school, but I haven't really left the game, you know, sort of thing. And that became the slogan for it. And they were looking to get different women from different sports, and, you know, they covered netball, they covered badminton, they covered all sorts of sports. And this was the rounders one. And I think the kind of the breast cancer thing was a nice hook. Dare I use that in a sense? But I think it was a nice hook. And maybe the fact that I was a little bit older, you know, I don't know. Anyway, I got selected. It was fab. So we had a filming day down at Burnley. It was a freezing cold day, absolutely freezing cold. And all the girls came from Scruples, and we had to play rounders for about 7 hours. It was absolutely, we were shattered at the end of it. I mean, literally your arms, because you're just constantly playing, because they were take after take after take, if you get what I mean. But the girls loved it because they brought a Winnebago with them. And we had like a catering unit, which the girls absolutely thought were brilliant. So anyway, we filmed all day, and that was great. And then the outcome was the brilliant posters that were produced, and they were the length and breadth of the country. Janet thought it was, my surname's Baldwin, and my nickname was always Boulders. So they brought up a bit of a silly game where it was where's Boulders, and you had to send a photograph of me wherever you'd seen me. And they were being sent from all over. It was hilarious. And the best one I think I ever saw was in the male toilets at Southampton Football Club. That was a pal had gone to a Southampton game, and he went into the male toilets, and there was a poster of me in the toilets. And we were like,
that's a bit odd. Maybe a pin-up girl.
Yeah, the best one I saw of myself was on the London Underground. So that was, yeah.
Because you were all over M&S as well, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, that was the next sort of phase of it. So the This Girl Can took off, and then This Girl Can did a clothing range with Marks and Spencer's, and they'd made like lovely zippies and tops and sort of tracksuits, that sort of T-shirts and things. And they wanted the poster girl. And they came back to me and asked me if we'd do it again. So the girls all got recruited again. We went to the Prairie. We went to the Prairie Sports Village that time. Again, filmed for hours.
And where's the Prairie?
The Prairie's in Burnley, so it's where yeah. So we've done some of our leagues. We're at Townley this summer league, but we have done it at the Prairie because there's outdoor kits. It's all part of Burnley Leisure. It's just one of their facilities. And we went down again and we're the filming and all the rest of it again. And Jane, one of the other girls, ended up playing like a backstop role because they had me batting. So all the famous pictures of me and Jane were in Marks and Spencer's on over. And again, I went down to London to it was I think the brand was launched in the Marble Arch Marks and Spencer's store. So I went into that store and there was posters of me, and I had a selfie with myself on the posters. So yeah. Yeah, so great.
Amazing.
Yeah, great to be part of that.
Yeah, and a great role model as well. You know, if you look, and I know they still are really keen around people being active. as you get on. And as you say, rounders is just a great sport for that, isn't it?
Honestly, it's the only sport I think I know where you really, it's so just not bias. It's not ability bias. There are some right sloggers. There's some great players. And if you can be an all-rounder at rounders, that's great. Like I often joke, I'm not as much a slogger as I'm better with the fielding sort of side of it. But I mean, some of our team, wow. I mean, they've got some right power in those hits. So it just isn't biased. Everybody can play from all age ranges. I know in our team currently now, Kate Arbola, her daughter Ruby's in the same team. So we've got mums and daughters.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful. Yeah.
And have you got memories? Because you won't have just stayed in Burnley, will you? You'll have done some travelling to different competitions and things like that, have you?
Yeah, so we've done a few different bits and pieces. I know my lot went to they were down in Coventry, I think, last year. I couldn't go. I can't remember what I got on. We've got a tournament this Saturday, and it rolls round. It goes around the UK. To the different sort of, it's like talent sort of days where the England squad will come. So we get to play against them.
Oh, fab.
And we did that a few years ago, and I want to say we either won or we drew with them, something crazy. I mean, and you're playing against the girls that are representing the country, which is amazing. So that's on Saturday. So I think there's about 20 teams, something like 20 teams turning up on Saturday. And it's a whole day, like a big festival of rounders.
Yeah.
And the teams come from all over, but I think the England squad come again.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great. And we've got quite a few of our of the club. Quite a few of our girls are in the talent pathway, so they've made the England sort of pathway, which is brilliant. And again, they're not youngsters; they're like women, your mums. They're not. It's sort of really open to all ages, and it's not just a youth thing; it's at whatever age.
Yeah, and actually, I know there's something around a golden ticket or something that people get selected and.
Yeah, and I know Ashley. I think Ash, who played at weekend, she was at Malvern at weekend playing in the talent pathway. Ash is the one she's been playing for 10 years, 12 years, and she was a golden ticket for sure. Yeah.
Oh, fab.
Yeah, so brilliant.
Great. Have you got memories then of any tours or going anywhere or even local stuff that just makes you smile and you think, oh, that's why I'm involved?
Yeah, well, we do a good presentation. So we're renowned for our presentation events and our celebrating success. I think we're really good at that. And every year we always have our presentations at the Mechanics, or that's one of the Burnley Leisure sites again, or the Mechanics Theatre, and we'll get a band on or a singer on, or that's always been really good, and we do that really well. We try and celebrate all the results and success, and not just the overall winning. We do most catches, biggest batting scores. There's some real, really good celebration of things like that, and it gets really good featuring. Burnley Leisure do a great sports awards every year. Burnley Rounders Club's won Club of the Year. I won Sports Personality of the Year one year, outstanding contribution. So, we do that well. We often get, we've had Sally Gunnell down and, some Roger Black and various sort of athletes presenting and stuff. So we're definitely good for celebrating the success, that's for sure.
Oh, that's what I like to hear, because and also about everybody getting a bit piece of the pie as well.
Yeah, there's always, we celebrate our umpires, our coaches, right to Janet, the hours Janet spends organising the fixtures, you name it. It's a big inclusive team that puts it on, really.
Oh, that's fab. So you didn't stop there, did you? You then went onto the board, didn't you? The England Rounders Board.
Yeah, they were sort of looking for an independent director, and I'd done some of that in my job. I'm an MD in the job that I do for a living. So, and I was like, well, I really fancy that in the sport world. So I went on and did a couple of years at Rounders England as an independent director there. So that was great. And my sort of specialism is more commercial, I work in a commercial environment. I work in commercial radio. That is for a day job. So I went and did that for a few years, which was great. A bit of a commitment because you know they have board meetings and you're down to London and this, that, and the other. But I tried to fit in with work and you know and the rest of it. And then from that, I went on and I was a board director at Burnley Leisure for a few years as well. So that sort of opens your eyes to totally different things, looking at it from a very different viewpoint on commerciality, which I thought was great. And then with that, I got asked to present at Sport England. So they asked me to do, they were having an away day with their team and they asked me to come and present. So my journey of, so it was the journey in Rounders and the This Girl Can and touching on a little bit of the adversity around my breast cancer and stuff. So it's been a real lovely, and I'll always do. I've presented awards at the Sports Awards, went on to win the Northwest Sports Personality Awards. So that was quite nice. So tried to sort of be all inclusive.
You're a bit of a role model, aren't you? Well, not a bit. You're a lot of a role model from what you're saying of what you've done and how you've done it as well.
Well, I have my daughter's 29, and you know, like if I can be a role model and do that, that's wonderful, isn't it? That's all you want to do. You want to, you know, show people that you can, and you know you can succeed in whatever you want to do, whether that's playing rounders or in my career or. So I like to give back. You know, what's not great about giving back, and an hour here and an hour there always, you know, benefits. So the Sport England thing was really interesting. I'd like to, in years to come, having been on a board now, that would be something I'd then look at, you know, do a 10-year on Sport England's board would be pretty amazing.
And with all your experience, you'd be ideal as well, right from that grassroots up, but also with what you do as a day job.
It'd be interesting that.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? And that community understanding how, because from what I can tell, the sort of Burnley is a really great example of starting from that small nucleus and growing and really forming a community that makes a difference to so many people.
Oh, I mean, they've done an amazing job. I mean, Janet really has. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's been supported by Rounders England, you know, a lot of that granting and that funding. But you've got people who've got to write the grants, who've got to write the, you know, it's a team effort. You know, Burnley Leisure really support Janet in that quest. You know, we've set ourselves, she's put us on the map really. And on Saturday, teams will come from all over to play. And I think I was looking at the fixtures sheets our team are playing, 5 or 6 from Burnley, but then that means there's 14 coming from all over. So, you know, that's a big nod that they're coming to little old Burnley, you know, the mill town. They're coming to come and play around us, you know, like that's wonderful.
It is. It's fabulous. So you're an absolute inspiration, Jo. I mean, I don't know if you've missed anything from because I always sort of give everybody a bit of time around. Is there anything you haven't mentioned that you think, oh, I wish I'd met? I don't want you to leave this today and think you wish you'd mentioned that.
No, I think the only thing is that, you know, and again, it's a big shout out to Janet and the team at Burnley Leisure. I mean, they're just a great team. You know, they're invested in sport in general, but this really has been investing in women's sport. Now, you know, you can, you know, it's like last night, I don't know whether you saw, like Sport Aid were on and they've had female players in the squad for the first time, you know, and one of the girls scored, you know, like, and they're making a big thing about, you know, the first female play. And you think, you know, why is it taking so long? You know, like we've got 500 plus women on a Monday and a Wednesday coming down, playing round. You know, it's amazing. You know, it's like really amazing. And, you know, just a big shout out, you know, we need our leisure, you know, Burnley Leisure to support that and continue to deliver that and what have you, and support Janet in a quest with it all. I play a lot of netball. There's a huge netball contingency over in this area, as there is hockey. You know, so we are, you know, women's football, that's really sort of taken off in these last few years. So that'd be my only thing. You know, we've really got to support the, you know, us women, you know, like the mums that are, like I say today, I'll fly on from work, I'll fly in the house, I'll get changed, fly back out again, you know, to go and play rounders, to then fly back home to then be my mum role. You know, really support it. You know, men's sports always had that. They get it. whereas we're trying to balance it all at the same time.
Yeah.
Most times, aren't we, as a mum? So, yeah, just a big shout out to that, and long may it continue, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been great, hasn't it, to see the growth of women's sport over the last, particularly the last 5 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has. And you know, it's about time they got paid the same. Do you know what I mean? It's all of that, which goes into
Yeah.
a whole different territory, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But just getting that funding, and you know, one of my really good mates, she's an amazing footballer. She's gone on and rekindled the love of football again. You know, that why not? You know, that
Yeah.
sort of thing. It's, you know, let's keep the big up for the women's sport and keep the money where it should be, supporting it and making sure we've got the funding. And Rounders England, you know, have done that and supported us very much with that over time.
Yeah, yeah. And as you say, Sport England supporting
Yeah,
Rounders so that they
yeah.
can do what they're doing and what they're doing so well.
Yeah, I think there's a big thing to try and get it to the Commonwealth Games, isn't it? And, you know, I know that they're just trying to get netball to the Olympics, aren't they? And things like that, you know, why ain't it? You're
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's that sort of
Yeah.
thing, isn't it?
It
But it
is.
needs people to champion it and to run with it. So,
Yeah. And you're one of those people. I do hope you get your quest to be on Sport England. You'd be absolutely fabulous because you've
yeah,
got
that'd
such a
be,
knowledge and a breadth that is just refreshing. And you are an inspiration. You are an absolute inspiration. It's been an absolute joy talking to you.
thank you. That's really
Thank you ever
lovely.
so much, Jo.
You're very welcome.